What if I told you that right now, as you're listening to this, your body is performing approximately 330 billion cellular healing operations per second? Not per minute, per second. Your DNA is being repaired over 10,000 times per day in each cell. Your immune system is identifying and destroying roughly 10,000 cancerous cells before they can multiply. And here's the truly mind-bending part. This entire symphony of healing happens most intensely when you're doing absolutely nothing, when you're completely still, when you're asleep. For decades, we thought sleep was just the brain shutting down, a biological necessity like charging a battery. But in 2012, Dr. Maiken Nedergaard at the University of Rochester made a discovery that would completely transform our understanding of why we need to rest. She found something nobody had ever seen before, a waste clearance system in the brain that only activates during sleep. She called it the glymphatic system, and it changes everything we know about healing. Here's what will blow your mind. Your brain literally shrinks by 60% during deep sleep, not because something's wrong, but to allow cerebrospinal fluid to wash through and remove toxic proteins that accumulate during your waking hours. It's like your brain has a nighttime cleaning crew that only comes out when you're unconscious. And this cleaning crew doesn't just tidy up. It removes beta-amyloid proteins, the same proteins that, when accumulated, are linked to Alzheimer's disease. Your sleep isn't just rest. It's medicine. Before we go deeper into this rabbit hole of relaxation and healing, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and that like button right now. And I'm genuinely curious, where in the world are you listening from? And what time is it there? Drop your country and the time in the comments. I love knowing that someone in Tokyo might be winding down while someone in London is just starting their evening. All of us together learning about the most profound healing system we've ever ignored, rest itself. Now let's start with something you think you understand, what healing actually is. You probably think of healing as something that happens when you're injured. You cut your finger, it bleeds, then it scabs, then it heals. Simple, right? But that's not healing. That's just a visible part of a process so complex, so beautifully orchestrated, that it makes the most advanced artificial intelligence look like a child's toy. Every single second, you're replacing about 25 million cells. That's not a metaphor. That's not an exaggeration. 25 million cells per second are dying and being replaced with fresh ones. In the time it takes you to listen to this paragraph, approximately 150 million of your cells have been completely renewed. Your skeleton replaces itself entirely every 10 years. The lining of your stomach renews every 5 days. Your skin is completely new every 2 to 4 weeks. You are not the same physical person you were a month ago. Not metaphorically, literally. But here's where it gets fascinating. In 1994, Dr. David Spiegel at Stanford University conducted a study that nobody wanted to believe. He took women with metastatic breast cancer and divided them into 2 groups. One group received standard medical care. The other group received the same medical care plus weekly support group meetings where they just talked, shared feelings, and relaxed together for 90 minutes. That's it. Just talking and relaxing once a week. The women who did nothing but add relaxation and social connection to their treatment lived twice as long as the control group. Twice as long. The oncology community was stunned. How could something as simple as gathering and relaxing have the same impact as chemotherapy? This is when scientists began to realize that healing isn't just a mechanical process. It's an information process. And relaxation is the language your body speaks most fluently. Think of it like this. Your body is like a smartphone running hundreds of apps simultaneously. During your waking hours, you're running the Navigate the World app, the Interact with People app, the Solve Problems app, the Worry About Everything app. Each app uses processing power in battery. But there's one app that can't run while all those others are active. It's called the Deep Healing and Restoration app. and it requires 80% of your system's resources to operate. It can only run in airplane mode, when you're still, when you're relaxed, when you're asleep. Dr. Matthew Walker, the neuroscientist who literally wrote the book on sleep, discovered something remarkable in his research at UC Berkeley. He found that a single night of poor sleep reduces the activity of natural killer cells, your body's cancer-fighting immune cells, by 70%. One night, 70% reduction. But here's the hopeful part. One good night of restorative sleep brings them right back up. Your body is ready to heal. It's just waiting for you to get out of the way. Let me share something that will change how you think about going to bed tonight. In traditional Chinese medicine, they've known for thousands of years what Western science is only now confirming. There's an optimal healing clock in your body. Between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., your body produces the highest levels of human growth hormone, the master healing chemical. Between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m., your liver detoxifies and regenerates. Between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., your bone marrow produces new blood cells. This isn't mysticism. This is circadian biology, and Dr. Jeffrey Hall, Dr. Michael Rosbash, and Dr. Michael Young won the Nobel Prize in 2017 for proving it. Your body has an inner clock more precise than any Rolex, coordinating trillions of healing events in perfect synchrony with the Earth's rotation. Every cell in your body has its own clock, and they all communicate with each other through chemical signals, coordinating the perfect moment for repair. But they need one thing from you: stillness, the absence of stress hormones, the presence of safety, relaxation. Now here's something that might surprise you. Healing isn't always comfortable. Sometimes the deepest healing feels like nothing at all. Dr. Herbert Benson at Harvard Medical School spent decades studying what he called the relaxation response, the physiological opposite of the stress response. What he discovered was counterintuitive. The moment your body enters deep relaxation, it immediately begins repair work on your most damaged systems. And sometimes that feels like tingling, warmth, twitching, or even temporary discomfort as your nervous system recalibrates. People often think that if they're feeling something during rest, they're doing it wrong. But Benson found the opposite. Those sensations are your body finally having the resources to address old injuries, chronic tensions, stored stress. It's like when you finally have time to clean your house, and you realize how much dust had accumulated. The dust was always there. You just didn't have time to notice it or clean it until you stopped running around. Let me give you 5 tangible examples of healing happening right now in your body at this very moment as you listen to this in a relaxed state. First, your hippocampus, the memory center of your brain, is producing new neurons. We used to think this was impossible after childhood, but Dr. Elizabeth Gould at Princeton proved in 1999 that adult brains create new brain cells every single day, primarily during rest and sleep. Second, your vagus nerve, that massive nerve running from your brain stem down through your chest and abdomen, is sending healing signals to your heart, your lungs, your digestive system, and your immune system. Every time you take a slow, deep breath, you're stimulating this nerve and broadcasting a message of safety to every organ in your body. Third, your telomeres, the protective caps on the ends of your chromosomes, are being maintained. In 2009, Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn won the Nobel Prize for discovering that chronic stress shortens telomeres, accelerating aging, while relaxation and meditation actually lengthen them. You're not just healing. You're potentially reversing aging at the cellular level through nothing more than calm. Fourth, your heart rate variability is increasing. That's the variation in time between each heartbeat, and it's one of the best predictors of overall health and resilience. Dr. Roland McCratty at the HeartMath Institute discovered that just 15 minutes of intentional relaxation can increase heart rate variability by 20% to 40%, indicating a more flexible, responsive, and healthy cardiovascular system. And fifth, your parasympathetic nervous system is releasing acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that tells every cell in your body, it's safe, you can repair now. You can let go. This chemical is why relaxation feels good. It's your body's way of rewarding you for finally giving it permission to heal. But we're just scratching the surface. What I'm about to share with you in the next section will fundamentally change how you understand what your body is capable of when you simply allow it to rest. Think about this. Why do animals instinctively find a safe place and lie completely still when they're injured or sick? Dogs do it. Cats do it. Even insects do it. They stop moving. They find darkness. They rest. For all of human history, until about 150 years ago, this is what humans did too. When someone was sick, the prescription was simple: bed rest, complete stillness. And people healed from things that would have killed them if they'd kept moving. Then something fascinating happened. In the 1950s and 60s, as medicine became more technological, doctors started to believe that bed rest was outdated, that it was actually harmful, that people needed to keep moving to heal. For decades, this became dogma. Patients were told to get up and walk as soon as possible after surgery, to push through pain, to stay active. But then, starting in the 1990s, scientists began to realize they'd made a catastrophic error. Dr. Michael Irwin at UCLA conducted groundbreaking research showing that the immune system is most active during deep rest and sleep. He found that just one night of sleep deprivation causes inflammatory markers in the blood to spike to levels seen in people with chronic diseases. The body was trying to tell us something we'd forgotten. Stillness is medicine. Here's a fact that might blow your mind. Your immune system is smarter than your conscious mind. Not metaphorically smart. Actually, measurably intelligent in ways we're only beginning to understand. In 2018, Dr. Daniela Lattori and her team at the University of Zurich discovered that immune cells have memory. Not just antibody memory for diseases you've had before. Actual memory of healing patterns that worked in the past. Your immune system learns. It adapts. It makes decisions. And it makes its best decisions when your conscious mind is offline, when you're deeply relaxed or asleep. Think of it like this. Your conscious mind is like a micromanager standing over the shoulder of a master craftsman, constantly interrupting, suggesting, worrying. The craftsman can work, but not nearly as well. But when you relax, when you sleep, the micromanager goes home and the craftsman can finally do their best work. Now let me share something that will make you rethink every tense moment you've experienced. Dr. Candace Pert, the neuroscientist who discovered endorphins and changed our understanding of the mind-body connection, found that emotions are not just in your brain. They're molecules. Actual physical molecules, called neuropeptides, that flow through your bloodstream and attach to receptors on every cell in your body. When you're stressed, you're literally bathing every cell in stress molecules. When you're relaxed, you're bathing every cell in healing molecules. Your emotions aren't separate from your physical health. They are your physical health. Every thought you think, every feeling you feel, is instantly translated into chemistry that either supports healing or suppresses it. But here's the hopeful part that nobody talks about. Relaxation is more powerful than stress. Dr. Herbert Benson found that it only takes about 10 to 20 minutes of deep relaxation to counteract several hours of stress hormones. Your body wants to heal. It's constantly trying to heal. It's just waiting for a window of opportunity, a gap in the stress, a moment of peace. And the beautiful thing is, you can give it that window anytime you want. Let me paint a picture of what's happening in your body during 20 minutes of deep relaxation. In the first 2 minutes, your breathing slows and deepens automatically. This triggers the vagus nerve, which sends signals to your brain to release calming neurotransmitters. Your heart rate drops by 10 to 20 beats per minute. Your blood pressure decreases. Your muscles begin to release tension patterns they've been holding for hours, days, sometimes years. Between minutes 3 and 5, your brainwaves shift from beta, the active thinking state, to alpha, the relaxed awareness state. In this state, your prefrontal cortex, the worry center of your brain, becomes less active. Your default mode network, the part of your brain that processes emotions and self-reflection, becomes more active. You start to process and release stored stress automatically, without even trying. By minute 7 or 8, your body temperature drops slightly, your metabolism slows, and your cells shift from energy expenditure mode to energy conservation and repair mode. Your mitochondria, the power plants in your cells, begin producing more ATP, the energy molecule your cells need for healing. By minute 10, your immune system is already ramping up production of natural killer cells and T cells. Between minutes 12 and 15, something remarkable happens. Your body releases a cascade of healing hormones. Growth hormone for tissue repair, melatonin for cellular protection, serotonin for mood regulation, and DHEA for longevity. This cocktail of natural medicine is more powerful and more perfectly calibrated to your specific needs than anything a pharmaceutical company could create. By minute 20, if you've stayed deeply relaxed, your body has initiated repair processes at the genetic level. Dr. Dean Ornish and Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn conducted a study in 2008 showing that just 3 months of stress reduction and relaxation practices actually changed the expression of over 500 genes, turning on health-promoting genes and turning off inflammatory and aging genes. You're not stuck with your genetics. Your genes are not your destiny. They're more like a piano keyboard, and relaxation is the music you play that brings out the healing melodies and silences the diseased ones. Now, I want to share something that might seem too simple to be true, but it's backed by decades of research. The single most powerful healing tool you have is also the most accessible, your breath. You've been breathing your entire life, so it seems mundane. But Dr. Andrew Huberman at Stanford has shown that specific breathing patterns can change your brain chemistry in minutes. When you breathe rapidly and shallowly, you're telling your body you're in danger. Your sympathetic nervous system activates. Stress hormones flood your system. Healing processes shut down. But when you breathe slowly and deeply, especially when you make your exhale longer than your inhale, you're telling your body you're safe. Your parasympathetic nervous system activates. Healing hormones flood your system. Repair processes ramp up. It's that simple. 5 seconds in, 7 seconds out. That pattern alone, repeated for just 2 minutes, can shift your entire physiology from stress mode to healing mode. You don't need any special equipment. You don't need any training. You just need to remember that your breath is a remote control for your nervous system, and you can change the channel anytime you want. Let me share something that will reframe how you think about difficult emotions. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, one of the world's leading trauma researchers, discovered that unprocessed emotions are stored in the body as physical tension and altered physiology. Your body keeps the score, as he titled his famous book. But here's what's fascinating. Those stored emotions can only be released during states of safety and relaxation. You can't think your way out of stored trauma. You can't logic your way out of chronic tension. But you can breathe your way out. You can relax your way out. When your body finally feels safe enough to let go, it will release years of accumulated stress in the form of spontaneous sighs, yawns, tears, trembling, or deep waves of relaxation. This isn't something going wrong. This is something going right. This is healing happening. The next time you're trying to fall asleep and you suddenly sigh deeply, or your leg twitches, or you feel a wave of emotion, don't fight it. Recognize it for what it is. Your body finally feeling safe enough to let go of something it's been carrying for far too long. Here's something that will blow your mind. Scientists have discovered that your gut produces 90% of your body's serotonin, the happiness and calm neurotransmitter, not your brain. Your gut. And your gut is directly connected to your brain via the vagus nerve. What does this mean? It means that when you relax your belly, When you breathe deeply into your abdomen, you're directly stimulating serotonin production. You can literally breathe your way into a better mood. Dr. Amarin Meyer at UCLA has spent decades studying the gut-brain connection, and he's found that gut bacteria, the trillions of microorganisms living in your intestines, communicate with your brain and influence your mood, your stress levels, and your healing capacity. And guess what improves gut bacteria health more than almost anything else? Sleep. Deep, restorative sleep. The kind of sleep that only comes when you're truly relaxed. Everything connects. Your breath affects your nervous system. Your nervous system affects your gut. Your gut affects your brain. Your brain affects your immune system. Your immune system affects every cell in your body. It's not a chain, it's a web. And at the center of that web, holding everything together, is one simple state: relaxation. Now we're going to go deeper, much deeper, into territory that will challenge everything you think you know about what healing really is. What if I told you that healing isn't just about fixing what's broken? What if healing is actually about remembering what's already whole? This isn't New Age philosophy. This is cutting-edge biology. In 2005, Dr. Shinya Yamanaka discovered something that would win him the Nobel Prize. He found that fully mature, specialized cells can be reverted back to stem cells, cells with the potential to become anything. He called them induced pluripotent stem cells. What this means is profound. Every cell in your body still contains the complete instructions for creating an entirely new you. The blueprint for perfect health isn't somewhere outside you. It's inside every single cell right now. The question isn't, how do I heal? The question is, what's preventing the healing that's trying to happen? And the answer, according to decades of research, is almost always the same: chronic activation of the stress response. When your body thinks it's in danger, it diverts all resources away from healing and toward survival. Blood flow moves away from your organs and toward your muscles. Energy moves away from repair and toward immediate action. Immune function decreases. Inflammation increases. It's not that your body can't heal. It's that it can't heal while it's trying to keep you alive in an emergency. But here's the mind-blowing part. Your body can't tell the difference between a real threat and an imagined one. When you lie in bed worrying about tomorrow's meeting, your body responds exactly the same way it would if a tiger was in the room. Cortisol spikes. Adrenaline flows. Healing stops. The tiger isn't real, but the physiological response is. And for many people, that tiger is imaginary, but ever-present, prowling through their thoughts 16 hours a day. Dr. Robert Sapolsky, a Stanford neuroendocrinologist who literally wrote the book on stress, spent decades studying wild baboons in Kenya to understand stress and health. What he found was shocking. The baboons who were healthiest weren't the biggest or strongest or most dominant. They were the ones who spent the most time grooming each other and relaxing between stressful events. The ones who could turn off the stress response quickly and completely. Humans are the only species that can't do this naturally anymore. A zebra being chased by a lion is experiencing maximal stress. But 90 seconds after the chase ends, if the zebra escaped, its stress hormones are back to baseline. It's grazing calmly. It's not replaying the attack in its mind. It's not worrying about the next one. It's present. It's relaxed. It's already healing. But humans? We get stuck in threat mode. We experience a stressful event on Monday, and we're still physiologically reacting to it on Friday. We think about a stressful event that might happen next month, and our body responds as if it's happening now. We've developed the ability to imagine threats that don't exist, and our body pays for it with our health. Here's what makes this tragic. We think this hypervigilance is keeping us safe. We think that if we just worry enough, plan enough, control enough, we'll prevent bad things from happening. But Dr. Martin Seligman, the founder of positive psychology, found the opposite. Chronic worry and stress don't make us safer. They make us less able to respond effectively when real challenges arise. They exhaust us. They make us sick. The very thing we think is protecting us is destroying us. But here's the beautiful counterpoint. The moment you relax, the moment you tell your body, right now, in this moment, I'm safe, everything changes. Dr. Richard Davidson at the University of Wisconsin used fMRI brain scans to show that experienced meditators, people who've practiced relaxation for years, have fundamentally different brains than stressed individuals. Their amygdala, the fear center, is smaller and less reactive. Their prefrontal cortex, the wisdom center, is thicker and more active. Their whole brain is literally shaped by relaxation. And the most hopeful part? It doesn't take years. He found measurable changes in brain structure after just 8 weeks of daily relaxation practice. 8 weeks. Your brain is that plastic, that changeable, that responsive to the simple act of being calm. Now let me share something that connects all of this together in a way that might bring tears to your eyes. In 1975, Dr. Robert Ayer, an immunologist at the University of Rochester, conducted an experiment that accidentally founded an entirely new field of science. He was conditioning rats to avoid saccharin-flavored water by pairing it with a drug that suppressed their immune systems. Simple behavioral conditioning. But then something impossible happened. After the conditioning, when he gave the rats saccharin water without the immune-suppressing drug, their immune systems still shut down, just from tasting the sweet water. He had proven something that medical science said was impossible. The immune system could be conditioned like Pavlov's dogs. The mind and the immune system were not separate. They were intimately connected. This discovery birthed psychoneuroimmunology, the study of how thoughts and emotions affect immune function. And what scientists have discovered over the past 50 years is staggering. Your thoughts are not separate from your immune system. Your emotions are not separate from your healing. Every positive thought, every moment of calm, every experience of joy or love or peace is literally strengthening your immune system, increasing natural killer cells, enhancing antibody production, reducing inflammatory markers. And the opposite is true too. Every anxious thought, every moment of stress, every experience of anger or fear or hopelessness is temporarily suppressing your immune system. Not as a punishment, as a biological strategy. When your brain thinks you're in danger, it assumes you might get injured, so it preemptively increases inflammation to deal with potential wounds. It's trying to help. But when that threat never materializes, when it's just in your imagination, that inflammation becomes chronic. And chronic inflammation is the root of almost every modern disease. But the moment you relax, the moment you shift into a state of calm, your body releases anti-inflammatory signals. Your immune system rebalances. Your healing accelerates. You are not powerless. You are not at the mercy of your genetics or your past or your circumstances. You have a profound tool at your disposal every single moment, the choice to relax. Let me share an analogy that makes this crystal clear. Think of your body like a smartphone. When you're stressed, it's like having 50 apps running in the background, GPS on, brightness at maximum, constantly searching for Wi-Fi signals that aren't there. Your battery drains fast. Your phone gets hot. It starts to lag. Eventually, it shuts down. But when you relax, it's like closing all those apps, putting your phone in airplane mode, dimming the screen. Suddenly, your battery lasts all day. Your phone runs smoothly. And in the background, all the maintenance processes that couldn't run before, all the updates and optimizations and cleaning, they all happen automatically. That's what's happening in your body right now, as you listen to this in a relaxed state. Background maintenance, deep optimization, healing. Now here's something that will make you rethink your entire night. During REM sleep, the stage where you dream, your brain is doing something extraordinary. Dr. Matthew Walker discovered that it's taking emotional memories from the day and reprocessing them, stripping away the emotional charge while keeping the factual information. It's like your brain is giving you overnight therapy every single night. Have you ever noticed that something that upset you yesterday doesn't bother you as much today after a good night's sleep? That's not time healing wounds. That's your brain literally reprocessing those memories during REM sleep, removing the emotional sting. Every night that you sleep well, you're getting psychological healing for free. Every night you don't sleep well, those emotional wounds stay fresh, accumulating, compounding. This is why sleep deprivation is used as a torture technique. It's not just uncomfortable. It prevents emotional healing, and after just a few days, people start to lose their psychological resilience completely. But it also reveals something beautiful. Your brain is built to heal. Every night, automatically. You don't have to do anything except get out of the way and let it happen. Here's a fact that might change your life. Dr. Michael Bruise, one of the world's leading sleep scientists, found that people who worry about not sleeping experience more health problems than people who actually don't sleep but don't worry about it. Read that again. The worry about not sleeping is more harmful than the actual lack of sleep. Your mind is that powerful. This doesn't mean sleep isn't important. It absolutely is. But it means that if you're lying in bed, worried that you're not falling asleep fast enough, that worry is causing more harm than the few extra minutes of wakefulness. The most healing thing you can do when you can't sleep is to relax anyway. Let your body rest even if your mind is awake. That rest is still healing. That stillness is still restorative. Now we're moving into territory that's going to fundamentally shift how you understand your relationship with your body. What if your body has been trying to communicate with you your entire life, and you just haven't learned its language? This isn't a metaphor. Your body literally communicates through sensations, and most of us have learned to ignore them or override them. We feel tired, but we drink coffee. We feel full, but we keep eating. We feel tense, but we power through. We've become disconnected from the intelligence of our own bodies. Dr. Antonio Damasio, a neuroscientist at USC, discovered that people with damage to the part of the brain that processes body sensations make terrible decisions in every area of life. Not because they can't think logically, because they can't feel what their body is telling them. Your body isn't just a vehicle carrying your brain around. It's a sophisticated sensing system, constantly gathering information about what's good for you and what's harmful, what feels right and what feels wrong. And here's what's fascinating. Your body knows you need rest before your mind does. Have you ever felt inexplicably drawn to cancel plans and just stay home? That's your body talking. Have you ever felt an urgent need to lie down in the middle of the day, even though you shouldn't be tired? That's your body talking. Have you ever gotten sick right after a stressful period ended, like the week after finals or the day you go on vacation? That's your body finally feeling safe enough to heal. Your body is constantly trying to guide you toward healing. But most of us have learned to override these signals, to push through, to be tough, to never show weakness. And we pay for it with our health. Dr. Gabor Mate, the physician who wrote When the Body Says No, spent decades working with chronically ill patients, and he found a stunning pattern. Almost all of them had learned early in life to suppress their own needs to take care of others. They ignored fatigue. They suppressed anger. They denied their own feelings. And decades later, their bodies said no for them, through autoimmune diseases, chronic pain, cancer. The body is not against you. It's trying desperately to protect you, to guide you, to heal you. But it needs you to listen. It needs you to honor its signals. When it says rest, it means rest. When it says slow down, it means slow down. When it says something's wrong, it means something's wrong. Here's something that will blow your mind. Your heart generates a stronger electromagnetic field than your brain. The HeartMath Institute has measured it extending several feet outside your body. Your heart is not just a pump. It's a sophisticated information processing center, sending more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. Your heart has its own nervous system, about 40,000 neurons, its own intelligence. When people say, "Listen to your heart," they're not being poetic. They're describing actual biology. Your heart knows things your brain doesn't. It processes emotional information. It senses safety and danger. And when your heart rate becomes coherent, when the rhythm becomes smooth and organized, it sends signals to your brain that promote healing, clarity, and calm. And guess what creates heart rate coherence more than anything else? Relaxation, gratitude, love. The emotions we've been told are just feelings, not facts, are actually shaping our physiology, broadcasting healing signals through our entire body with every heartbeat. Now let me share something about pain that will change how you experience discomfort. For decades, we thought pain was a simple signal. Tissue damage sends a message to the brain, and you feel pain. But Dr. Lorimer Moseley, a pain neuroscientist in Australia, has proven that pain is not a measure of tissue damage. It's a measure of perceived threat. He tells a story of two construction workers. One steps on a nail that goes completely through his boot. He's in agony, can't walk, has to be carried to the hospital. When they remove the boot, they find the nail passed perfectly between his toes. No tissue damage at all. Zero injury. But the pain was real because his brain perceived threat. Another worker comes to the emergency room with almost no pain, saying he bumped his back. When they cut off his shirt, there's a 6-inch blade embedded in his back, just millimeters from his spine. Massive tissue damage, but minimal pain because his brain didn't perceive it as a threat yet. What this means is revolutionary. Pain is not just about damage. It's about the meaning your brain assigns to sensations. And your brain makes its assessment of threat based on context, memory, beliefs, and crucially, your state of relaxation or stress. When you're stressed, your pain volume knob is turned up. Everything hurts more. When you're relaxed, your pain volume knob is turned down. The same injury feels different. This is why relaxation is such powerful medicine for chronic pain. You're not imagining the pain, but you can change how your brain processes it by changing your state. Every relaxing breath is turning down your pain volume. Every moment of calm is teaching your brain that you're safe, reducing the perceived threat. Dr. John Kabat-Zinn proved this at the University of Massachusetts Medical School with chronic pain patients who tried everything. He taught them nothing but meditation and relaxation. No drugs, no surgery, just learning to relax deeply. After 8 weeks, 72% experienced significant pain reduction. Some became completely pain-free. Same injury, same tissue damage, different perception, different nervous system state. Your nervous system is not just receiving reality. It's creating your experience of reality. And relaxation is the tool you use to shape that creation. Now I want to share something about sleep stages that will make you appreciate your nights differently. You don't just sleep. You cycle through distinct stages, each with its own healing purpose. Dr. Alan Rechtschaffen, who pioneered sleep research in the 1960s, discovered that each stage is essential and that depriving yourself of any single stage causes specific types of damage. Stage 1 light sleep is when your body begins to release muscle tension, when your heart rate slows, when you start to disconnect from the external world. It's brief, just 5 to 10 minutes, but it's the doorway. If you're someone who says, "I can't fall asleep," you're usually someone who can't surrender to this first stage. You're holding on. You're trying to control. And control is the opposite of healing. Stage 2, deeper light sleep, is where your body temperature drops. Your immune system ramps up, and your brain starts consolidating memories. This stage accounts for about 50% of your night, and it's where most of your physical healing occurs. Growth hormone is released. Tissues are repaired. Your body is working harder during this stage than it does during much of your waking day. Stage 3, deep sleep, is the holy grail. This is where Dr. Nedergaard's glymphatic system kicks into high gear, washing away toxins from your brain. This is where your body performs its deepest repairs. Children spend a lot of time in deep sleep because they're growing rapidly. As we age, we get less deep sleep, which is one reason aging is associated with accumulated damage. But here's the good news. You can increase deep sleep through consistent sleep schedules, cool rooms, and daytime exercise. REM sleep, the dreaming stage, is where emotional healing happens. Your brain is as active during REM as when you're awake, but your body is paralyzed to prevent you from acting out your dreams. This is when your brain processes emotional experiences, consolidates learning, and makes creative connections. Einstein credited his dreams with insights that led to his theories. The structure of the benzene ring came to a chemist in a dream. Your brain is solving problems all night while you're unconscious. And here's something magical. Each sleep stage has its own brain wave pattern, its own chemistry, its own healing speciality. They work together like an orchestra, each instrument essential to the symphony. When you cut your sleep short, you're not just losing time. You're missing entire movements of the healing symphony. But here's what nobody tells you. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need 8 hours every single night. Your body is resilient. It compensates. What matters more than perfection is consistency and quality. One great night of sleep can partially compensate for several mediocre nights. Your body is on your side, always trying to catch up, always trying to heal, always ready to forgive your imperfections. If you've made it this far, we're about halfway through this journey, and I want you to do something for me. Take a moment right now and notice how your body feels. Are your shoulders up by your ears? Is your jaw clenched? Is your breathing shallow? Just notice. Don't judge. Just observe. That observation alone begins the healing process. Awareness is the first step to change. Now, let's dive deeper into something that connects everything we've talked about, the concept of rest as a skill, not just a state. Most people think relaxation is something that happens to you when conditions are right, when it's quiet, when you're comfortable, when you have nothing to worry about. But Dr. Elisa Eppel at UCSF, who studies stress and aging, found something remarkable. The people who are best at relaxing aren't the people with the easiest lives. They're the people who've learned to relax regardless of their circumstances. Relaxation is a skill you can develop, like playing piano or speaking a language. At first, it's difficult. Your mind wanders. Your body resists. You feel like you're doing it wrong. But with practice, it becomes second nature. You can drop into deep relaxation in minutes, regardless of what's happening around you. Here's the science behind why this matters. Dr. Richard Davidson's research showed that expert meditators, people who've logged thousands of hours of relaxation practice, can voluntarily control parts of their nervous system that most people can't. They can lower their heart rate at will. They can increase their body temperature in specific parts of their body. They can change their brain wave patterns on command. But you don't need thousands of hours to see benefits. The same research showed that beginners with just 30 hours of practice, about 20 minutes a day for 3 months, showed measurable improvements in attention, emotional regulation, immune function, and stress resilience. Your body responds fast to relaxation training because it desperately wants to heal. It's been waiting for you to give it permission. Think of it like this. Imagine you've been driving a car with the emergency brake slightly engaged your entire life. You can still drive. You can still get places. But it's harder. You burn more fuel. The car wears out faster. You think that level of difficulty is just how driving is. Then one day, someone shows you the emergency brake and teaches you to release it. Suddenly, driving becomes effortless. You're not doing more. You're doing less. But the results are dramatically better. That's what learning to relax is like. You're not adding something to your life. You're removing the emergency brake of chronic tension that's been engaged your whole life. And suddenly, everything becomes easier. You sleep better. You heal faster. You have more energy. Not because you're trying harder, but because you've stopped fighting yourself. Now let me share something about the power of ritual and routine in healing that will make you rethink your evening habits. Dr. Charles Duhigg, who wrote The Power of Habit, explains that about 40% of what we do every day isn't conscious decision-making. It's habit. And habits are driven by cues, routines, and rewards processed by the basal ganglia, a primitive part of your brain that doesn't require conscious thought. What this means is profound. You can train your body to relax automatically through consistent bedtime rituals. If you do the same relaxing sequence every night before bed, dim the lights at the same time, listen to the same calming sounds, your basal ganglia will learn that this sequence means it's time to heal now. Your body will begin the relaxation response before you even lie down, just from the cue of starting your routine. This is why sleep hygiene matters, but not in the rigid, anxious way it's often prescribed. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. Your body craves rhythm and pattern because they create predictability, and predictability creates safety, and safety allows healing. Here's something beautiful. Traditional cultures understood this intuitively. They had elaborate bedtime rituals, sunset routines, ways of winding down that modern life has obliterated. In Ayurvedic medicine, they recommend an evening abhyanga, a self-massage with warm oil. In traditional Chinese medicine, they suggest foot soaks and gentle stretching. In many indigenous cultures, there were evening storytelling traditions that calmed the nervous system. These weren't just cultural practices. They were healing technologies developed over millennia of observation. Our ancestors understood something we've forgotten. The transition from day to night is sacred, and it needs to be honored with ritual. When you rush from full activity straight to bed, you're asking your nervous system to make an impossible shift. It's like asking a car to go from 100 miles per hour to 0 instantly. You need a transition. You need a ramp down. Let me share a formula that combines ancient wisdom with modern science. About 2 hours before bed, dim your lights. Blue light from screens suppresses melatonin, your sleep hormone. But Dr. Charles Cheisler at Harvard found that warm, dim light actually supports melatonin production. 1 hour before bed, stop consuming information. No news, no social media, no work emails. Let your mind begin to settle. 30 minutes before bed, do something that signals safety to your body. This could be gentle stretching, where you're telling your muscles they can let go. It could be journaling, where you download worries from your mind onto paper, literally getting them out of your head. It could be reading fiction, which research shows is more relaxing than reading non-fiction because it doesn't activate your problem-solving brain. Or it could be listening to calming sounds or guided relaxation. The specific activity matters less than the consistency. Your body will learn. When this happens, healing time begins. And within weeks, you'll find yourself naturally becoming drowsy at the start of your routine, before you even get to bed. You're not forcing sleep. You're creating the conditions where sleep becomes inevitable. Now here's something that might challenge your assumptions about what rest looks like. Dr. Alex Sujung Kim Peng, who wrote Rest, Why You Get More Done When You Work Less, studied the habits of the most creative and productive people in history. What he found was counterintuitive. They didn't work more hours. They rested more skillfully. They took daily walks. They napped. They had hobbies that had nothing to do with their work. They protected their sleep fiercely. Charles Darwin worked intensely for 4 to 5 hours a day and spent the rest of his time walking, napping, and relaxing. He was one of the most productive scientists in history. It wasn't despite his rest. It was because of his rest. Your brain needs downtime to process information, make connections, consolidate learning. When you work continuously without rest, you're not being more productive. You're just busy. But when you alternate intense focus with deep rest, you enter a state of optimal performance that researchers call flow when you're working, and default mode network activation when you're resting. Both states are essential. Both are productive in different ways. Here's a fact that will blow your mind. Dr. Marcus Rachel at Washington University discovered that your brain uses only 5% more energy when you're doing a focused task than when you're resting. Your brain is incredibly active during rest, just in different ways. It's processing memories, solving problems, making creative connections, and healing itself. Rest isn't the absence of productivity. It's a different kind of productivity. This reframe is essential for healing because many people can't relax because they feel guilty about resting. They think they should be doing something. But doing nothing is doing something. It's doing the most important something, giving your body permission to heal. Let me share an analogy that makes this clear. Think of your body like a garden. When you're active, you're planting seeds, watering, pulling weeds. This feels productive because you can see yourself doing something. But the actual growth, the actual transformation of seed into plant, happens underground, in the dark, when you're not looking. You can't force it. You can't speed it up. You can only create conditions and wait. Healing is like that. You can create conditions for healing through good nutrition, exercise, sleep hygiene. But the actual healing happens automatically, underground, in the dark of your cells, when you're resting. You can't force it. You can't think your way into it. You can only stop interfering with it and trust the process. This requires a fundamental shift in how we relate to our bodies. We've been taught to treat our bodies like machines that we control. But your body isn't a machine. It's an ecosystem. It has its own intelligence, its own timing, its own wisdom. Your job isn't to control it. Your job is to listen to it, support it, and trust it. Now we're going to explore something that might seem mystical, but is actually hard neuroscience. The power of attention in healing. Dr. Ellen Langer, a psychologist at Harvard, conducted a famous study called the counterclockwise study in 1981. She took a group of men in their 70s and 80s and had them spend a week living as if it were 1959, 22 years earlier. Everything in the environment was from 1959. The music, the television shows, the newspapers. They discussed events from 1959 in the present tense. They were instructed to be the men they were in 1959, not just remember being them. After just 1 week, these men showed dramatic improvements in physical health. Their hearing improved. Their vision improved. Their arthritis decreased. Their posture straightened. Their grip strength increased. Independent observers looking at photographs said they looked noticeably younger. All from 1 week of changing their attention and self-perception. This study has been replicated multiple times with similar results. What you pay attention to shapes your biology. Your expectations about aging, health, and healing become self-fulfilling prophecies through complex interactions between your nervous system, your endocrine system, and your immune system. Here's what this means practically. When you lie down to rest and you think, "I'm so broken, I'm so tired, I'll never heal," you're not just having pessimistic thoughts. You're broadcasting instructions to every cell in your body. You're activating stress pathways. You're suppressing healing mechanisms. But when you think, "My body knows how to heal, it's healing right now, I trust this process," you're activating completely different pathways. You're supporting your body's innate healing intelligence. This isn't positive thinking. This is applied neuroscience. Dr. Alia Crum at Stanford has shown that our mindsets about things like stress, food, and exercise significantly affect their impact on our health. People who believe stress is enhancing rather than debilitating show physiological markers of thriving under pressure. People who believe they're getting good exercise from their daily activities show health improvements even when their activity level doesn't change. Your beliefs aren't separate from your biology. They are your biology. Every thought is translated into chemistry within milliseconds, and you can use this power intentionally to support your healing. Here's a practice that combines everything we've learned so far. Tonight, when you lie down to sleep, try this. First, scan your body from head to toe, just noticing sensations without judgment. This activates your interoceptive network, your brain's body sensing system, which has been shown to reduce anxiety and increase present moment awareness. Second, with each exhale, imagine tension draining out of your body into the earth. You're not forcing relaxation. You're just allowing release. With each inhale, imagine you're breathing in healing energy. You can visualize this as light, warmth, whatever feels natural to you. This isn't woo-woo. You're using visualization to direct your attention, which directs blood flow, which directs healing resources. Third, say to yourself silently, my body is healing right now. Every cell is being renewed. I trust this process. You're not trying to convince yourself of something untrue. You're reminding yourself of something that is actually true at the cellular level. You are healing. Right now. Always. This simple practice, done nightly, can rewire your nervous system over time. Dr. Andrew Newberg at Thomas Jefferson University has done brain scans of people during various meditative and prayer practices. He found that they all activate similar networks, regardless of the specific tradition or belief system. They quiet the parietal lobe, the part of your brain that defines where you end and the world begins. They activate the prefrontal cortex, the wisdom center, and they increase activity in areas associated with healing and restoration. You are not separate from your healing. You are participating in it, whether consciously or unconsciously. Why not participate consciously? Why not use the power of your attention to support what your body is already trying to do? Now let's talk about something that's going to connect all of this to your daily life in a way that's immediately practical. The concept of microdoses of relaxation. You don't need to wait until bedtime to heal. You don't need a vacation or a spa day. Your body can shift into healing mode in less than 60 seconds if you know how. Dr. Emma Seplag at Stanford, author of The Happiness Track, researches what she calls micro moments of positivity. She's found that brief moments of genuine relaxation, joy, or connection scattered throughout the day have a cumulative effect on health that's equal to or greater than longer but less frequent relaxation periods. Think of healing like watering a plant. You can water it once a week with a gallon of water, and the plant survives. But if you water it daily with a little water, the plant thrives. Your body is the same. Frequent small doses of relaxation keep your nervous system flexible, your stress hormones balanced, your healing systems active. Here's a practical formula. Set a timer on your phone to go off every 2 hours while you're awake. When it goes off, stop whatever you're doing for just 60 seconds. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. Soften your jaw and your shoulders. That's it. 60 seconds. 8 times a day. That's 8 minutes total. But those 8 minutes, strategically distributed, can prevent the accumulation of stress that usually takes hours to release at night. Dr. Andrew Huberman calls these physiological sighs. 2 quick inhales through the nose, followed by a long exhale through the mouth. This breathing pattern, he's found, is the fastest way to reduce stress and anxiety in real time. Faster than any medication, faster than any technique. Your body already knows how to do this. You spontaneously sigh when you're stressed. You're just learning to do it intentionally. Here's why this matters for sleep and healing. If you accumulate 16 hours of stress and tension during the day, your body needs hours to unwind at night. But if you're constantly micro-releasing stress during the day, you arrive at bedtime already mostly relaxed. Sleep comes easier. It's deeper. It's more restorative. You're not asking your body to perform a miracle of relaxation in 20 minutes. You're asking it to deepen a state it's been practicing all day. Let me share something about laughter that will make you rethink the importance of joy. Dr. Lee Burke at Loma Linda University has studied the physiology of laughter for decades. He's found that genuine laughter, the kind that comes from deep joy, causes an immediate increase in immune function that lasts for hours. Natural killer cells increase by up to 40%. Antibodies increase. Stress hormones decrease dramatically. Endorphins flood your system. But here's what's fascinating. Your body can't tell the difference between genuine laughter and fake laughter. The physiological benefits are the same. This is why laughter yoga, where people fake laugh in groups until it becomes real, has been shown to improve health outcomes in clinical trials. Your body responds to the physical act of laughing, regardless of whether there's actually something funny. What this means is revolutionary. You can intentionally create healing moments throughout your day. You can choose to laugh, even if nothing's funny. You can choose to smile, even if you're not happy. And your body will respond with healing chemistry. You're not being fake. You're being therapeutic. This connects to something deeper about the nature of emotions. We think emotions cause physical reactions. We feel happy, so we smile. We feel relaxed, so our shoulders drop. But Dr. James Laird discovered in the 1970s that it works both ways. If you smile, you'll start to feel happier. If you relax your shoulders, you'll start to feel calmer. The causation runs in both directions. This is called the facial feedback hypothesis, and it's been replicated hundreds of times. You can't always control how you feel, but you can always control what you do with your body. And what you do with your body influences how you feel. This is empowering. This means you're not at the mercy of your emotions or your stress. You have tools. You have agency. You can intervene in your own healing at any moment. Here's a practice that incorporates all of this. Several times today, even if you don't feel like it, stop and smile genuinely. Relax your face. Lift the corners of your mouth. Think of something you're grateful for. Take a deep breath. Hold this for 30 seconds. Your brain will start releasing dopamine, serotonin, endorphins. Your immune system will activate. Inflammation will decrease. You're literally giving yourself medicine through nothing more than a smile and a thought. Now let's go even deeper into the mystery of how rest creates healing at the molecular level, because what I'm about to share will fundamentally change how you understand what's happening in your body right now. Inside each of your cells, you have tiny structures called mitochondria. You probably learned about them in school as the powerhouse of the cell, which makes them sound like boring batteries. But mitochondria are far stranger and more significant than that. They were once independent bacteria that merged with our ancestors' cells about 1.5 billion years ago. They have their own DNA, separate from your nuclear DNA. They're essentially ancient organisms living inside you. And here's what will blow your mind. Your mitochondria are incredibly sensitive to stress. Dr. Doug Wallace at the University of Pennsylvania has shown that chronic stress damages mitochondrial DNA faster than it damages nuclear DNA. And when your mitochondria are damaged, they can't produce energy efficiently. This is why chronically stressed people feel exhausted even after sleeping. Their cellular power plants are damaged. But mitochondria can also repair themselves. And guess when they do most of their repair? During deep rest and sleep. When you're relaxed, when your stress hormones are low, your mitochondria activate repair genes, rebuild their internal structures, and replicate to create new, healthy copies. You're not just resting. You're literally rebuilding the energy production capacity of every cell in your body. This is why people who sleep well have more energy. It's not just that they rested. It's that they rebuilt their cellular power infrastructure. And people who don't sleep well eventually develop mitochondrial dysfunction, which is implicated in almost every chronic disease, from diabetes to Alzheimer's to chronic fatigue syndrome. But here's the hopeful part. Mitochondrial damage is reversible. Dr. Anuradha Rao at Johns Hopkins found that just 2 weeks of improved sleep quality can significantly improve mitochondrial function. Your cells are constantly dying and being replaced. When you start sleeping well, the new cells you're making have healthy mitochondria. Within months, you can have a significantly renewed cellular energy system. Now let me share something about fascia that's going to change how you think about tension in your body. Fascia is the connective tissue web that surrounds every muscle, every organ, every nerve in your body. For decades, anatomists ignored it, literally scraping it away to see the important structures underneath. But Dr. Robert Schleip in Germany has pioneered fascia research, and what he's discovered is remarkable. Fascia isn't just passive wrapping. It's an active living tissue with more nerve endings than your skin. It contracts and relaxes independently of your muscles. It stores tension patterns from past injuries and traumas. And it becomes rigid and dehydrated when you're chronically stressed, creating pain and restricting movement throughout your body. But fascia is also incredibly plastic. When you deeply relax, especially when you're lying still for extended periods, fascia releases stored tension. It rehydrates. It becomes supple again. This is why people sometimes feel twitches or releases during relaxation or sleep. That's not your muscles randomly firing. That's your fascia releasing old holding patterns. Dr. Helene Langevin at Harvard has shown that even a single session of stretching or deep relaxation can increase fascia hydration and reduce inflammation. Imagine what happens during 8 hours of sleep. Your entire fascial network is being released, hydrated, and renewed. You wake up literally more fluid, more flexible, more integrated. This is why morning stiffness isn't just about age or arthritis. It's about fascia that's been compressed and dehydrated during sleep. As you move gently and stay hydrated, your fascia rehydrates and you feel loose again. But if you start your day with stress and tension before allowing this process to complete, you're locking in that stiffness. You're training your fascia to stay tight. Here's a practice that supports fascial health and sleep. Before bed, do 5 minutes of gentle, slow movement. Not exercise, not stretching, just easy, pleasurable movement. Sway, rock, twist gently, move in ways that feel good. You're not trying to accomplish anything. You're just reminding your body what fluid, easy movement feels like. You're preparing your fascia for a night of healing release. Now let's talk about something that connects your individual healing to something much larger, the discovery of circadian rhythms throughout nature. In 2017, Jeffrey Hall, Michael Rosbash, and Michael Young won the Nobel Prize for discovering the molecular mechanisms of circadian rhythm. They found that every cell in your body has clock genes that turn on and off in approximately 24-hour cycles, synchronized with Earth's rotation. But here's what's extraordinary. These same clock genes exist in plants, in fungi, in bacteria. Almost every living thing on Earth has an internal clock. What this means is profound. You're not separate from nature. You're not a unique system operating independently. You're part of a planetary rhythm. The Earth turns, day becomes night, and everything alive responds in synchrony. When you go to sleep with the darkness and wake with the light, you're not just being healthy. You're participating in a cosmic dance that's billions of years old. Modern life has disconnected us from this rhythm. Artificial light, shift work, screens before bed. We've convinced ourselves we're separate from nature, that we can operate on our own schedule. But your biology doesn't care what you think. Your cells know what time it is, and when you fight that knowledge, they malfunction. Dr. Sachin Panda at the Salk Institute has done groundbreaking research on time-restricted eating and circadian rhythms. He's found that when you eat, sleep, and exercise in sync with your natural rhythms, your health improves dramatically, even if nothing else changes. Same diet, same exercise amount, but done at the right time, aligned with your circadian rhythm, and the results are completely different. Your body expects to eat during daylight. It expects to rest during darkness. It expects consistent timing day after day. When you honor these expectations, everything works better. When you violate them constantly, everything degrades. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency and alignment. Here's something that will make you appreciate sunset differently. In the hour before darkness, as light levels drop, your pineal gland begins producing melatonin, your sleep hormone. But this only works if you're exposed to the dropping light levels. If you're inside under bright artificial lights, your pineal gland thinks it's still midday. Melatonin production is suppressed. You feel wired when you should feel drowsy. Dr. Andrew Huberman recommends getting outside for just 10 minutes around sunset, or at least dimming your indoor lights significantly. You're not just being mindful or appreciating nature. You're synchronizing your biology with the planet's rotation. You're telling every cell, day is ending. It's time to prepare for healing and rest. And here's something beautiful. When you do this consistently, your body starts anticipating sleep. You become naturally drowsy at the same time each night. You wake naturally at the same time each morning. You don't need alarm clocks. You don't need sleep aids. You're simply aligned with the rhythm of life itself. This alignment feels different from forced sleep. There's an ease to it, a naturalness. Your body isn't fighting you. It's working with you. And in that cooperation between your conscious intentions and your body's wisdom, healing flourishes. Now we're moving into the final sections, where we're going to connect everything we've learned to your life, your choices, and your future. Because understanding healing is one thing. Embodying it is another. What I'm about to share might be the most important reframe of this entire journey. You ready? Here it is. You are not broken. You don't need to be fixed. Your symptoms, your pain, your sleeplessness, they're not signs of failure. They're signs that your body is desperately trying to heal, but hasn't been given the conditions it needs. Dr. Gabor Maté says it beautifully. The question is not why the addiction, but why the pain. The same is true for any chronic health issue. The question isn't, why can't I sleep? But what is my body trying to tell me? The question isn't, why do I hurt? But what healing is trying to happen that I keep interrupting? Your body is not your enemy. It's your oldest friend, your most loyal ally, your wisest teacher. It has kept you alive every single day of your life through threats you didn't even know existed. Billions of viruses, toxins, injuries, stressors, and yet here you are, still breathing, still living, still capable of healing. Every symptom is communication. Insomnia is your body saying, I don't feel safe enough to shut down consciousness. Pain is your body saying, something needs attention here. Fatigue is your body saying, I've been running on emergency reserves. I need real rest. These aren't failures. These are invitations to deeper healing. But we've been trained to override these messages, to medicate them into silence, to push through, to be tough. And sometimes that's necessary. Life requires resilience. But resilience isn't about never feeling symptoms. It's about honoring them, understanding them, and addressing their root causes rather than just suppressing their signals. Here's a practice that can transform your relationship with your body. Tonight, before you sleep, place your hand on your heart. Feel it beating. Thank your heart for beating all day, without you having to think about it. Thank your lungs for breathing. Thank your immune system for fighting threats. Thank your brain for processing the millions of bits of information you encountered today. This isn't just gratitude practice. This is relationship building. You're acknowledging that your body is doing its best for you. And when your body feels appreciated rather than criticized, something shifts. The inner critic quiets. The inner healer speaks. And healing accelerates. Dr. Kristen Neff at the University of Texas studies self-compassion, and she's found that people who treat themselves kindly heal faster from illness, recover better from surgery, and experience less chronic pain than people who criticize themselves. Self-compassion isn't selfish or weak. It's therapeutic. It's medicine. Your body responds to how you speak to it. When you say, "I hate my body. It's failing me. It's letting me down," you're creating a stress response that impairs healing. But when you say, "My body is doing its best. It's trying to heal. I support it," you're creating a safety response that facilitates healing. Words aren't just sounds. They're instructions. They're prophecies. They shape your biology. Choose them wisely. Now let me share something about the role of community and connection in healing that will make you rethink isolation. Dr. Julian Holt-Lunstad at Brigham Young University conducted a meta-analysis of 148 studies involving over 300,000 participants. She found that lack of social connection is a greater health risk than obesity, smoking, or high blood pressure. Isolation kills. Connection heals. But why? Because your nervous system is a social organ. Dr. Stephen Porges' polyvagal theory explains that you have multiple nervous system states and a state of safety and healing. What he calls social engagement is only accessible when you feel connected to others. When you're isolated, your nervous system interprets this as danger, activating stress responses even when there's no actual threat. This is why support groups work. This is why therapy helps. This is why simply having someone listen to you without judgment can reduce your pain levels, improve your sleep, and boost your immune function. You're not just feeling emotionally supported. You're being physiologically regulated by another human's presence and attention. Even parasocial connection has benefits. Listening to a soothing voice, like you're doing right now, activates the social engagement system. Your vagus nerve is being stimulated. Your nervous system is receiving cues of safety. You're not alone. And your body knows this, even if your conscious mind doesn't fully register it. This is why people fall asleep to podcasts, audiobooks, YouTube videos. It's not just the content. It's the presence of another human voice, creating a sense of safety and connection that allows the nervous system to finally relax enough for sleep. If you're listening to this alone in bed, struggling to sleep, here's what I want you to know. You're not alone. Millions of people around the world are lying awake right now, feeling the same things you're feeling. You're part of a global community of humans trying to heal, trying to rest, trying to be okay. That shared experience creates connection, and that connection creates healing, even if it's invisible. Here's something practical. Tomorrow, reach out to someone, not to talk about problems necessarily, just to connect. A text message, a phone call, a smile at a stranger. Every genuine human connection triggers oxytocin release, which has powerful anti-stress and healing effects. You're not just being social. You're being therapeutic. Now let's talk about hope, because hope isn't just a feeling. It's a physiological state with measurable health benefits. Dr. Jerome Groopman, an oncologist at Harvard, wrote an entire book called The Anatomy of Hope, based on his observations that cancer patients with hope lived longer and responded better to treatment than patients without hope, even when disease severity was identical. Hope isn't delusion. It's biology. When you have hope, when you believe healing is possible, your brain releases dopamine, the motivation and reward neurotransmitter. Dopamine activates your prefrontal cortex, enhancing problem-solving and decision-making. It also modulates your immune system, increasing the production and activity of T cells and natural killer cells. Hopelessness does the opposite. It activates your stress response. It suppresses immune function. It increases inflammation. It creates a physiological state where healing is dramatically impaired. Hopelessness isn't just sad. It's biologically toxic. But here's the critical point. Hope is a choice. It's not based on whether your circumstances are currently good. It's based on whether you believe change is possible. And the evidence for hope in healing is overwhelming. People heal from diseases doctors said were incurable. People recover from injuries that should have been permanent. The human body's capacity for healing, given the right conditions, is vastly greater than medical science historically believed. You have every reason for hope. Your body replaced billions of cells today. It healed micro-injuries. It fought off pathogens. It balanced hundreds of systems. It did all of this automatically, without your conscious effort. This is happening right now. This will keep happening as long as you're alive. Healing is your default state. Illness is the exception. Never forget that. Here's a visualization that encapsulates hope. Imagine a seed buried in dark soil. From the seed's perspective, if it could think, it would seem hopeless. Surrounded by darkness, trapped, unable to see the sun, unable to know if there's even a world above the soil. But the seed doesn't need hope. It has something better, trust in the process. It knows, at a level deeper than thought, that if it just keeps doing what seeds do, growing toward the light it can't yet see, eventually it will break through the soil into sunlight. You're like that seed. Some of you are in dark times right now. Health struggles, sleep struggles, life struggles. From where you are, you can't see the breakthrough yet, but it's there. And if you keep doing what supports healing, keep resting when you can, keep being gentle with yourself, keep trusting the process, you will break through. Not because I'm being optimistic, because that's how healing works. Persistence plus patience plus the right conditions always equals transformation. Now, as we move toward the conclusion of this journey together, I want to address something important: perfection. You will not do this perfectly. You will not sleep perfectly every night. You will not rest adequately every day. You will not always choose the healing option. You will not always honor your body's signals. You're human. Humans are messy, and that's okay. In fact, it's more than okay. It's part of the process. Dr. Kristen Neff talks about compassionate failure, the ability to mess up, acknowledge it without judgment, and try again. This is the most powerful healing skill you can develop, because perfectionism is a form of stress. It activates the same threat response as actual danger, but self-compassion activates the safety response. So when you lie awake at 2 a.m., don't compound the problem by judging yourself for being awake. Just notice, I'm awake. This is uncomfortable. This is okay. My body is still healing. I'm still safe. That small shift from judgment to acceptance can literally change your physiology, making sleep more likely and rest more restorative, even if sleep doesn't come. Here's something that might relieve a lot of pressure. You don't have to sleep 8 hours tonight or tomorrow night. One night of imperfect sleep won't destroy your health. Your body is resilient. It compensates. It catches up. What matters is the overall pattern over weeks and months, not any single night. This is true for all of healing. One stressful day doesn't undo months of self-care. One poor food choice doesn't erase a generally healthy diet. One skipped workout doesn't destroy your fitness. Your body works with averages. It forgives imperfection. It rewards general direction over specific perfection. The real danger isn't imperfection. It's the stress you create about imperfection. So let it go. Be messy. Be human. Your body will love you anyway and keep trying to heal you anyway. Now, let me bring everything full circle by coming back to where we started, the fact that you're healing right now. As you listen to this, at a rate that's almost incomprehensible, every single second, your body is performing miracles. Your bone marrow is producing 2 million red blood cells. Your immune system is destroying thousands of abnormal cells. Your liver is performing over 500 metabolic functions. Your heart is pumping blood through 60,000 miles of blood vessels. Your lungs are exchanging gases across a surface area equal to a tennis court. And you're not doing any of this consciously. It's all happening automatically, guided by an intelligence vastly greater than your conscious mind. You are not in control of your healing. You can't be. It's too complex, too intelligent, too perfectly orchestrated. But you can support it. You can get out of its way. You can create conditions where it flourishes rather than struggles. And the single best condition you can create is the one we've been exploring for over 3 hours now. Deep, genuine, regular rest. When you rest, you're not being lazy. You're not wasting time. You're not falling behind. You're doing the most biologically productive thing a human can do, allowing your body to rebuild, repair, renew, and restore itself to wholeness. Here's my final gift to you. Permission. Permission to rest without guilt. Permission to sleep without achieving. Permission to do nothing and call it healing. Permission to honor your body's needs over society's demands. Permission to choose your health over your productivity. Permission to be human, which means being biological, which means needing rest, just like you need air and water and food. You don't need to earn rest. You don't need to deserve it. You need it simply because you're alive. And the beautiful irony is this. When you rest deeply and regularly, when you prioritize your healing, you actually become more capable, more creative, more resilient, more alive. Rest isn't the opposite of productivity. It's the foundation of it. So tonight, when you finally lay down to sleep, I want you to do something radical. I want you to celebrate sleep. Not just tolerate it, not just endure it, celebrate it. Be grateful for it. Marvel at the fact that you get to spend a third of your life in a state where your body performs its deepest healing. Your brain processes your experiences. Your immune system reboots, and you wake up literally renewed. Sleep is not a waste of time. It's alchemy. It's transformation. It's the most sophisticated healing technology that exists, and it's built into your biology, available for free every single night of your life. As we close, I want to leave you with one final thought, one final reframe that might change everything. You are not a human doing. You are a human being. And being requires rest. Being requires stillness. Being requires moments of absolute non-productivity where nothing is achieved and everything is restored. In those moments of pure being, when you're not trying to accomplish anything, not trying to become anything, not trying to fix anything, you're actually doing the most important thing you can do. You're allowing yourself to simply exist. And in that existence, in that acceptance of your being, rather than your doing, healing happens spontaneously. The universe has been expanding for 13.8 billion years. Stars have been born and died. Life emerged from oceans. Evolution created the incomprehensible complexity of your body over billions of years. And all of that cosmic history, all of that evolutionary intelligence is working in your favor right now, trying to keep you healthy, trying to heal you, trying to maintain the miracle of your existence. You don't have to do this alone. You have 37 trillion cells working for you. You have an immune system that never sleeps. You have a heart that never stops trying. You have a body that loves you unconditionally and will keep trying to heal you until your last breath. So trust it, support it, honor it, rest in it, and know that every moment you spend in deep, genuine rest is a moment of healing more profound than any medicine, any treatment, any intervention. You are healing right now. You've been healing throughout this entire journey. And you'll keep healing as long as you keep breathing, keep resting, keep allowing the intelligence of life itself to work through you. Sleep well, beautiful human. Your body has work to do tonight. Important work. Healing work. And all it needs from you is your permission to do it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for prioritizing your healing. Thank you for choosing rest in a world that constantly demands more. You're not just taking care of yourself. You're participating in the most fundamental rhythm of life itself. Rest is not the end of productivity. It's the beginning of renewal. Sleep is not the death of consciousness. It's the birth of healing. And you, right now, in this moment, are exactly where you need to be. Breathe, release, trust, heal,